I kind of feel sorry for these artists, in that who are sort of angry about AI because I don't think they really understand that it's not them primarily that AI is going to be coming from for, because it's still going to need talented people because it's one thing I've learned is it's not straight up like what you see on the main websites. That's not really how AI is used for art. Though it's very cheap as demonstration of what it can do, but it's not the tools that I've seen. I've seen tools like Stable Diffusion, and these are way more advanced. They're they allow you to define figures and shapes and preferred positions and forms. So you're no longer you're somewhere close towards getting towards sculpting almost, like in that you're defining all these positions and shapes and forms of things. You can draw a rough, right? And you can define what you want and fine tune and all that kind of stuff. And you can sit there for hours and hours working on a single piece if you want to. Days, even. You can continuously take the image output and feed it back in. You can, like, there's different tools. It's not just a matter of put text in, get image out. That's very lazy, that's very simple. There's way more when it comes to AI art generation. And it's, put it this way, um, they didn't have a problem with it when Adobe introduced content aware fill. That was the first sort of practical example of this kind of technology, was content aware fill. No one had a complaint about it. It was a little bit weird, but no one really complained about it. Like, it wasn't really worth the whinge. It's now that it's getting to the point where this could viably be used for replacing lots of asset production type stuff, where it's like mass produced assets and things like that that don't have a high artistic value but have a high, like, well, not really high commercial value, let's face it. They have a commercial value, but that's not art. Really, like we always, like, in terms of people talk about arts being art, like mass producing assets for a game is not art. Putting the whole thing together and making the game, putting all that effort together, that's art. But when you're just making one little asset, right, over and over and over, you're not really making art. You're doing a job for a contract, and that's the difference. And that's the thing, is they want to debate about what art is and what isn't all they want, right? But the truth is, a lot of stuff that AI is going to replace is things like that. The other thing it's going to replace is middle management. You know why? Because as an engineer, I can orchestrate an entire project all on my own without management. See where it's going? You need engineers to write code. You need engineers to oversee AI to write code, because if you don't, and you don't spot stuff in the middle of it making a mistake, you are fucked. So it's like I sit there and I shepherd it constantly if I'm using this kind of stuff. I never ever ever walk away from it, because if I do, every time it blows up in my face. I've learned one of those things is a tool. It's simply a tool. It's not a band-aid. It's not a panacea to fix everything. Cannot. It's not perfect by any means. It's simply an automation tool. It's a very clever one. This idea that it's going to destroy the world and replace everyone and this, that, and the other. Do you have any fucking clue how many things have happened on this planet in the last 300 years where it looked like the world was going to end? It's just not going to fucking happen. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. The fantasy, people need to hang up the fantasy and just relax. Because the truth is, the job that's going to take mainly the managerial class are the ones that are going to lose jobs. It's the middle managers, it's HR, it's adult daycare is the ones who are in trouble now, because they're not producing any useful output, and AI can replace them very easily. I'm not talking about management decisions. I'm talking about just overseeing things. I'm just talking about what's going on with this thing. Is this project up to date and all that kind of stuff? Because they'll have a CEO, they'll have a management team, right? But all the people in the middle who collated reports and annoyed teams and got on your case, all those fucking people, they're gone. They're fucking gone. In the next 20 to 30 years, that middle managerial class will no longer exist. And they've been a fucking bane of my existence and of your existence for longer than you realise, because a lot of those people also end up as bureaucrats. The kind of people who've been running our governments into the ground for decades now are exactly the kind of people who are going to lose their jobs to AI. It's coming, people. Just wait. Like people worry about, like artists are all worried about this stuff, but I'm telling you right now, They need to stop whinging about this shit and get on board. Because I'm telling you, it's going to get rid of people who have been annoying them the most, which is management. They're the ones who are causing all problems. It's always management. I'm telling you straight up. It's people who want to be in charge who are the most dangerous. It's like me personally. I don't want power. I don't want any power. I don't want any control. I want my little domain where I have my life in order, and that's it. I don't care about whatever else happens outside anymore, because what's the point? Like I keep getting told by other people that it's none of my fucking business, and that nothing's going to change, and that that's just the way things are. Okay, then I just care about my little domain. Then why should I give a fuck about anybody else's? Like that's the thing. Like I'm just going to sit here and develop AI and write code, write patches, and get them accepted on GitHub, and that's what I'm doing. I'm writing code. I'm getting it accepted. I'm already making contributions. I'm doing some research on compaction, doing some research on memory storage. I'm doing all kinds of cool stuff. So like, you know, like I'm not bothered. Like, and that's the annoying thing is other people are bothered by my existence at the moment. My own housemates are sitting there judging me silently. Right? You have problems. I'm not sitting there like, no, I don't. You have a problem with the way I live my life, and you don't like it. That's your problem. You chose to work. You chose to do things you did, mate. I didn't do them for you, so don't put them on me. Don't blame me for your fucking problems. Okay? You have a problem with me because you don't like the fact that you're working for a living and I'm on disability. Okay? It's not my fucking problem though. It's simply not. It's jealousy and it's very pathetic and I don't like it. So that's the thing is I've dealt with all this kind of bullshit now, like arrogant nonsense from people before. People who overvalue themselves and don't realise that really very easily they can be replaced. If you don't watch out, people will just replace you. Like it's becoming a thing now. Artists are going to get used to it. I would advise get ahead of it, start learning the tools, figuring out what it's actually good for. I'd use it for roughing, use it for early sketch work. Don't use it to make your pieces. Use it as a roughing tool. Use it to make references that you don't have to go online and look for fucking references for. Right? Don't generate a whole thing, just do roughs. Use it for inspiration, use it for anything you want that you feel is ethically acceptable within the bounds, right? Because I'm telling you right now, like, the things that you do as an artist, the AI can do. I'm sorry, but you're just not that special. You're not that unique. You can do what I can do as a developer as well. We're not that special. We're just not. All the stuff that we can do ultimately can be reduced down to algorithms and done by a computer. That was always the case. It was never not the case. It's just that you didn't think that it was going to come for you quite this soon. You assumed that it would be your children's problem or your children's problem. And that was once again very arrogant and very hubristic. You know, it's very silly to sit there and think that the world isn't going to change and it's not going to affect you. Of course it's going to change. Of course it's going to affect you. God, things are so bad here now. There's people pooing on my house, right? They're wiping piss and shit on my house, right? I've got footage of this on my channel. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, there's people need to wake up. You know, like the idea that this is going to destroy everything is nonsense. What's going to destroy everything is a low trust society where no one can actually trust each other anymore. Because the country's flooded and nobody actually has time to acclimate to how the culture is here. What are we supposed to do? Like, people are pouring in quicker than we can actually deal with. People are pouring in quicker than we can deal with them. Like, that's a matter of fact. It's not. I don't hate them one bit. They're being used. That's the thing that's really fucked up about this. Is most of the people on the right actually don't hate migrants so much as they hate that they're being used by people in charge. They're just not very good at expressing themselves. I think they're really bad at expressing it. But I think really they're pissed off that people are being used, and not only that, but we're being used as well. Like, it's all about the gross domestic product. So when artists complain about AI, I'm just like, you have a fucking clue. Everyone's under attack right now. The entire West is being fucked by its leadership and they've all lied to you about it as well. They've all told you that it's going to make things better, and things aren't getting better. Like, they told you it would get better. Are they getting better? Have you had any wins lately as a group? Like, look all the people who are sweeping back into power that you don't like. Think about it. Why is that happening? It's not just oh, those people are bad, right? We're all part of the same group. We're all the same, right? We're all part of the same general group of human beings, right? So all the people in your country that vote for people you don't like, they had a reason for doing that. And it's time to start asking why instead of just assuming and proclaiming things like, oh, they're racist or this or that. It's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work. This tactic is tired. People I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I'm aware of it. Eventually, people wisen up to the political tactics that you're using. They start to figure out you're full of shit and start calling you out. This is why I'm calling out artists, okay? They like to draw fan art for money or for free of other people's copyrighted characters. And I find this irritating because, yes, okay, you can do that, but don't sit there and tell me that you created all the stuff on your own, because you fucking didn't. You're inspired by something else, you saw something else and you copied it. You copied it. You made your own spin on the character, but you still copied it. That's the truth. You can talk about all you want that you didn't, but it's exactly the same fucking thing that AI does. It takes stuff in and it figures out the patterns and figures out how what a thing is on an abstract sense. It extracts semantic meaning. That's what it can do. And then it remixes and recombines that meaning and comes up with something completely different, which looks like something you drew, but it's not. That's the thing you need to understand. It is a unique creation which was inspired by a thing it saw of that you made, for example. It's called inspiration. This is the mathematical equivalent, quite literally. And I keep saying this. They don't think, they're not intelligent, they're not smart, right? There's no consciousness. And that's the thing that gets me, is people don't understand you can have intelligence without consciousness. Absolutely. It's something that's been talked about in philosophy and in metaphysics for quite some time now, is this terrifying possibility of a consciousness without, or an intelligence that has no consciousness. Not actually awake, not aware of itself, no self-awareness, but still very intelligent. That's exactly what AI is shaping up to be. Intelligent, but no consciousness whatsoever. So, and that's the thing, is it isn't aware of its condition, it has no concept of self whatsoever. That's not required for artistic output. I've seen people who are severely disabled, people with half their fucking heads gone can draw. People who've had half their head blown off can draw. Explain that. And that's what I mean, is artists are not that special. Like, they've really gassed themselves up the last 50 years, last 100 years, and this happens every 300 to 400 years, by the way. It's usually tied with the dummy spit that usually comes shortly after. Artists get a little bit too much veneration. We start investing a lot of money in things that nobody actually fucking cares about or needs. And people get very upset because there's less for themselves. There's less for the system to actually spend on things that we need, because the truth is, despite all the rich people and all the money that they're hoarding for themselves, because of that, there's just not enough to go around. And until we start voting for people in every Western country who are part of the red or blue standard parties you have, left, right, whatever, I don't give a fuck. If we don't start looking for alternatives, things are going to keep going the way they are. Like, they're not going to get better. I can tell you that straight now. They're going to keep running things the way they are forever. And there's now talking about how everybody who's in a Western country who needs to retire in the next 50 years is going to really struggle as a retiree. So basically, when you are done with work, right, when you want to retire, there's not going to be anything for you. And I want you to understand that. And it's because of the people you're choosing to vote for right now, the people you're supporting, whether they get in or not. If you're still voting for these mainstream type parties in your Western country, they're going to keep fucking things up for you. They're not going to stop. So, artists can whinge all they want about AI, right? But the truth is, we have far bigger problems. We have far bigger problems than this. And the truth is, I think in 20 years' time, what will happen is artists will be sitting dead bitter with nothing estranged. They won't be able to pick up any work, because every time someone mentions that they need to use AI for their job, they'll have a dummy spit and no one will want to hire them. And that's the thing. I think that in the end, it'll become a big job filter, and so that you use the tool as an assisted tool to do your job quicker, or we find someone who will use it. And that's the thing. There's no guarantee that every single artist on this planet is going to say no. That's where basic human nature takes over, and where this idea that people are essentially nice really falls down, because you realise that people will do anything to survive. I can guarantee you, what will cause the artists fall is the ones who realise that they don't have a choice but to cooperate. Because it's either this, or they find somewhere else to work. It's coming. I'm telling you straight up, it's coming. The next 20 years are going to be very interesting, because I think that by the end of it, kids will just be using it to generate memes or whatever, like they are now. But I think kids will be using it to generate memes, and all the stuff that artists are saying now, none of it will come to pass, and they won't ever say, and it will just be part of life now, and they're just going to have to live with it, and they'll grow old, and they'll die, and be bitter about this for the rest of their lives, and they're never going to get their way. It's never going to happen. I can see it. It's never going to happen. They are not going to get their way. I don't know what to say. Like artists are just not going to get their way on this. It's just too useful. It's too efficient. It's too, like, every time we've found a technology like this that automates something, we replace human beings with it. Every single time. Never not be a thing. You can talk about Uber for cab drivers. You can talk about the camera for portraiture artists. I wouldn't imagine they'd been too pleased when that came along. You can literally talk about fucking any innovation that's come along in the last 200 years, 300 years, and someone got displaced by it. Someone got put out. Every single time someone got screwed. Right? This idea that artists are any more privileged or special than anyone else, I find to be remarkably entitled. This is incredibly entitled behaviour. Everyone else has had to deal with automation replacing their jobs. Why is it so much worse when artists get targeted? Is it just because they're loud and they have access to journalists, friends who can write up articles on it? I don't know what it is. They have a lot of cultural power, institutional power, I know that. They like pretend they don't. I'm a wee little artist, and I'm so innocent, and I wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm just a little guy. And then they start up this entire freaking political campaign over this, that, or the other. And suddenly they're not so harmless. So I look at them and I go, yeah, you've not actually been held to account for any of your behaviour the last 50 years as a group. I think it's about time. Sorry, I think it's about time that artists deal with it. Get over it. I had to. Well, I had to. Everyone's had to get over the fact that computers are here to stay. Automation's here to stay. It's not gone away. There's no way. You would have to do a full Butlerian jihad to get rid of computers and AI, and it's not happening either. There's just no way. They're not going to go back to that. The people in charge love how convenient this is. They have no morals. The people on the bottom who like me, who are dealing with like the engineering stuff, right? We're doing our jobs too. You need to understand that, right? We're doing these jobs because that's all we've got. That's all you're doing your jobs because that's all you've got. But at the same time, mate, if you cause us problems, we'll take your jobs away. Like, because we're the ones who build the fucking world. You just fucking paint pretty pictures on it, and that's the truth.